Hey, today I have my meta-analysis of Operation Whiskey Trail, and I also have for you the final list. At the end of this video, I'll go over the lists that I haven't gone over yet. But right now, I will go through the meta of Operation Whiskey Trail. So let's go. So this is the meta as I'm seeing it. The event itself is blue on blue. It's generic reinforced platoon. 825 points, which is a weird one, isn't it? But a lot of tournaments that I'm seeing these days have odd numbers of points that you can bring. I think people are trying to mix it up before version 3 hopefully comes out in the fall and changes everything up anyway. 12 order dice cap, which I think should be enough for 825. No free units, which again pushes the order dice down a little bit. There are 18 players signed up right now, one of them being the ringer. So yeah, the order dice count is between 8 and 12, with a clear focus on 11 and 12. The average is 11.1, so above 12, even though there are like a few that are below. So 11 to 12 is clearly the thing that most players think that they need to bring. There are 7 Germans, German players, only 3 Brits, and one of them being the ringer, so like the TO that is going to play not to win. So I think this removing the free units and the points cost here lends itself well to certain nations, and maybe especially the Germans. Maybe there's something in low points games for Germany. There are 3 Americans as well, 2 Soviets, and 1 each of Japan, Finland, and Italy. Now that I think is a slight problem. The minor nations sort of drop out of this meta here. A lot of people are focusing on Germany instead. So the range of different nations is pretty limited here. But then we only have 18 players, so it's really difficult to say anything in general about this. The builds, what do I see? Well, I see a lot of mixed bag skirmisher builds. So there are 5 mixed bags, plus 1 extra if you count the greatest hits, which is basically 2 of everything, so it's 2 times mixed bag. And then 5 skirmishes, which has a focus on being able to shoot at range and move and not assault. So very close to a mixed bag build. So quite a lot of these types of units that want to shoot, that want to deliver pins, that want to move, that has different elements in the army. That is clearly something that is popular right now in the Scottish meta. There are 3 veteran spam lists. Most of them are at the same time gear spam, which I think is a bad idea, and I think I accidentally like crapped on somebody's platoon for this. I'm sorry if I did that. I think spending that many points on already expensive units is what we call a point sink, and there are 3 people here who are bringing a lot of veterans, like everything veteran, and then gearing up with LMGs and assault rifles and stuff. I don't think they'll do well. There are 2 faux tank lists, which is always interesting. In low point games, to have enough points to buy armored vehicles is really a bet. But it's a bet I think can pay off, because a lot of people will cut out maybe the tank or maybe their anti-tank sections because they think, well, other people are cutting out the tanks. So if you're going to go faux tank, I think that there's really something there that you can do, but of course it's very expensive in points. So maybe these 2 guys can do well. I think potentially, looking at who the players are, I think there's a potential for them doing well. There are 2 Death Stars, which, you know, they never really do well. So I'm hoping that it's just someone who really enjoys bringing that one unit, that one heavy tank or whatever. Then there are 2 barbecue lists. They should be able to do well because there isn't a lot of recce in the lists here. So the barbecue lists should actually be able to do fairly well. And stubborn units are few and far between as well. There's 1 assault unit. That's the Japanese one. Which also I think could do really well in this meta. And 1 horde unit, again, the Japanese. So the Japanese one is a mix of assault and horde. It has a load of bamboo spears and cavalry. So for me, the rankings go between 2 and 4s. I don't think that there are any true 5er lists. I think all of them could be min-maxed a little bit more, but I think a lot of them really suit the players because a lot of them are what I would term 3.5 lists. So something dropping now. So really strong competitive lists, but with a focus on one thing that maybe suits that player better than other things, which I think is a clever way to go, because the best min-maxed list is not always what you will want in your list, because it doesn't suit your playstyle or what you think you need or how you want to play the list. So the average for me is a 3.3, so fairly good ranking here. It's going to be a nice competitive tournament. My predictions is that Paul Walker, with his 12 ordered Soviet barbecue, which is a 4 for me, might do well, might end up in the top 10. I'm hesitating now to say top 5 because I always miss out on that, but I usually am correct in the top 10. I think Alistair Unicon, with his 12 ordered Soviets faux tank list, is also going to go in the top 5, if not win. His list is a 4 for me as well, and both Alistair and Paul know what they're doing. Graham Thompson, with his 11 ordered German greatest hits, 3.5 for me. I think also could do well. This lends itself well to Graham's usual play style. He has like small units in armored vehicles typically, and I think he could do well with that. Johnny Ferg, with his 12 ordered Americans. Johnny knows his Americans. 3.5 for me as well. Good player. All of these are pretty... it's a combination of a good list with a good player, and I know that they know their nation, right? So I'm fairly confident in this. And Phil Mason, I think, will be the final one. It could be Andy McCabe, but I'm not actually sure about this one. Phil has a 10 ordered, so a little lower, but Finnish list, and he's bringing a heavy howitzer. He's been playing a heavy howitzer in multiple different nations now for quite a while, so he knows his way around a heavy howitzer. I think he can do well because that brings the HE, like the stopping power that the Finns don't usually have. So he sits there on ambush, shoots you as you go, and then he'll howitzer you as you come in. So I think these guys could be the top 5. Now let me take you to the lists here, just a sec. I'll need to just break it and find my lists. Just a second. Right, I am back again. I found the lists. Here we go. The first one is from Kushank, and it is 11 ordered 825, perfectly on the dot. Inexperienced second lieutenant with an extra man, nice. Marines, 3 PARs. Ooh, that's a lot of firepower in that veteran unit. That is 8-man veterans, 130 points. They're very expensive. Don't like the submachine gun on it, but stubborn as well, so they can take a hit from a flamethrower. Veteran engineers here, double BARs on those as well. It's a question of if they survive the first round of combat, you're going to want them to be able to shoot, so I understand it, but most of the time they're going to sit in a dodge. And another veteran unit here, submachine gun and BARs. I don't like that combination, but I mean, it's 3 points, so it's not a massive problem at all. Machine gun team. Regular medium machine gun. No. Don't do that. NX medium mortar. I think I would rather actually spend the points on making that mortar regular with the spotter. I never said this on YouTube. Please don't tell anyone in Great Britain that I've said this. But, oh man. I don't think it's worth it. Anyway, cool. Sniper team veteran. I would also save the points here, I think. Just because, I mean, you're 11 order dice. I think you should be at 12. Just because. Or maybe, like, spend the points on something hard-hitting. I don't think you need that. Pistols replaced by submachine guns. I don't think it's necessary either. But, okay. Someone who likes their sniper team to be able to do other things, I guess. A regular bazooka team. Medium howitzer with a spotter, regular. That's good. That will hurt something. A half-track. That, I guess, is going to contain the engineers. It's too big, though. It's 12-man capacity. And the engineer unit is 6 men. HMG and MMG. This is too many points sunk into something that's not really that effective, I think. And a Jeep. It almost cost the same. You know what? You could have bought a Darker Steward. Just, I mean, cut down on your sniper and you have the points for a Darker Steward in replacement of this half-track that's not really useful. And get yourself a Dodge instead of this one. That I think I would have done. I'm not here to critique the list. I mean, it's just there are certain things with this list where I think you could have spent the points better. Johnny Ferg. Johnny Ferg is also bringing Americans. 824 points, 12 order dice. Second lieutenant with pistol. A pistol and a submachine. That's a weird combination, Johnny. Oh, look at this. This is the way to run Marines. That's why I critique the other list. I think he's overspending on his units. But this is cut down, bare bones. 2 BARs to get the range, to have enough shots to be fairly sure you're going to hit. And then a bunch of rifles. That works. That really works. 7-man unit. Perfect size as well. And much cheaper. 80 points. And here we have a veteran version of the same. Again, Johnny disagrees with me. I can see that on submachine guns. 2 submachine guns, 3 BARs, 3 pistols, 2 rifles. Man, that is a lot of firepower coming out of this unit. It is a lot of firepower. 7 men, veterans. They can really dish out some damage. And they're very, very survivable. 122 points. And then an engineer unit, again, regular. That's what I'm telling you. Johnny knows his US. Double submachine gun, double bar, because, you know, if you survive. And a flamethrower. This could have been cut down, the points spent on something else, but, you know. Again, with a regular machine gun. Are you guys getting some sort of special bonus that I don't know about for that machine gun? That I don't get. I really don't get it. Medium mortar team, inexperienced. Three men. Yep. Sniper team, regular. That's the way to do it. Double submachine guns. Still dangerous. Can do the hunting of small teams. Yeah. A flamethrower team, regular. So that's the second flamethrower. A bazooka team. Yep. A rocket launcher. That's the 105, 114 millimeter, I think. Yeah. And the M15, wow! Turret-mounted heavy automatic cannon and 2 turret-mounted heavy machine guns. Yeah. On a 7+ open-topped. It's going to get pinned, of course it is, but that is really dangerous. And a Dodge truck for transporting the engineers. The only thing I think we lack in this one is some transport for the flamer team. Here, but you can already see this list has much more punch than the list before. So that's why Johnny Ferg is on my top player prediction list. Then we have Howley. who's also bringing his Americans, 11 order dice, 825. A second lieutenant, inexperienced. Veteran infantry, single BAR, tough fighters, submachine gun on one of them here. I don't think that is necessary at all, but I mean, pretty nice 8-man units here. Again, very survivable. People are going for that veteran survivability here, although I think it's too expensive for them. Then a unit of regulars, that is better. It's a big unit though, isn't it? That's a 10-man unit. That's a lot of regulars with a single BAR. Bazooka team, regular. 114 rocket launcher, regular. Doesn't need to be regular. You could have bought it inexperienced just to save the points. A tractor, definitely not needed. You have a pintle-mounted HMG, but okay. Is that worth it? Maybe. Maybe. I do know some American players who really like that. A recce jeep with a pintle-mounted MMG and a Stuart light tank with recce. But it is the reinforced one, so it's not a darker Stuart. I don't think that's worth it, but double dodge, yeah. That is the transport section you want to see for Americans. Double dodges with MMGs, regular. That's a lot of darker coming out of that dodge section here. So those were the Americans. Of those, I think Johnny Ferg's is clearly the strongest. Howley's is also pretty good, but... And then we go to the Soviets. We have Alistair Unicon, 12 order dice, 823. And we have a junior lieutenant, regular though. Alistair is trying to prove me wrong here. Trying to prove that regular lieutenants can do stuff. Interesting. 50 points. I personally think it's a waste, but okay. And then MSU rifle squads here. Green, 5-man, inexperienced rifle squads. That's insane. What is he doing? 5-man rifle squads. I'll show you in a minute. But there is a point to the madness here. There's really a point to the madness. People's Militia, so he has a horde here as well. Like, he doesn't get his free Soviet squad, but he buys them anyway. And with the inexpensiveness of his infantry selection here, that's a lot of bodies, right? That's 24 inexperienced dudes, so they can actually outflank really well because they're full strength, or they can sit on ambush and just survive really well as well. Dogmine anti-tank team, that is a 3-man unit, veteran, equipped with SMGs, and the NCO has a rifle. Interesting, so you have a bit of range, you can go up and hunt forward deployers once you've shot your mines. Interesting. Really interesting. And then the BA 64 that has a turret-mounted HMG. I'm not a massive fan of this. I think perhaps a BA 20 would be more dangerous, but you know, it is 3 more shots that has +1, so it can go up and hunt enemy Stuarts. But I'm not seeing that many Stuarts here in this. In the lists. A Stuart light tank, 130 points, so that is without the recce. Really, really cool. Yeah. And then here comes the point of the infantry. 3 Bren carriers. Now this is a faux tank platoon, and because you have inexperienced people being transported, which he had to do more or less, he had to cut down on cost. You're firing one of the LMGs, and that can be the front-facing or the pintle-mounted, by the way. You can choose. You're firing one of them at -1 because inexperienced people are firing it. But the crew can actually choose which one to fire. So I would always fire the pintle-mounted with the crew normally. So the thing is here that his 4 armored units. Oh, he actually has 5 with the BA 64, right? but 4 of his armored units can split fire. So he can deliver quite a lot of pins going in. And if he can maneuver his army to hit you in one flank while you are perhaps more static, you're going to really struggle, because that's a lot of incoming fire that is coming your way here. And then maybe the People's Militia will get out as well and shoot. I would even consider putting the dog mine in one of those Bren carriers, actually. You could put the lieutenant and the dog mine in each their Bren carrier. They would be regular and would be shooting. The inexperienced could move up behind or just sit on objectives. I like this list, Ali. I really like this list. I would wish there to be one more regular squad, but I know that you want the 2 outflankers here. Yeah. I think this can do well. In the hands of Alistair, who knows what he's doing, I think this really can do well. And the final list that I'm going to talk about is Paul Walker's 12 Order Dice, Soviets 823, Junior Lieutenant Inexperienced, Assault Engineers 120. Wow, they are expensive, but man, are they dangerous. That is something that Paul is going to throw up against something that he really wants to die. 4 submachine guns, 1 flamethrower, 2 Fausts. They'll kill anything. A veteran squad, very survivable, all rifles, double Faust, tough fighters. Yes, that's the way to build Soviet veterans. Love them. Commissar, because he's so dirt cheap. And another assault engineer, veteran. Again, 5 submachine guns here, flamethrower, double Faust. Lots of barbecue in this list here. Lots of staying power as well. Inexperienced medium mortar. 2 anti-tank rifle teams. Veterans. Not needed to be veterans, I think. But, they are small teams. They're very survivable as well. Medium howitzer with a spotter. Regular. BA-20. That's the 3rd flamethrower. Barbecuing for the win here. A Tokarev to absolutely decimate any infantry that is threatening his lines. And a truck to transport his 2 units of assault engineers. That is massive. Wow, this is a good platoon here from Paul Walker. Very strong going into this weekend. Right. That's it from me. Good luck to everyone fighting today. I will see you after, hopefully with the results. Cheers.